Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Traveling Therapist Podcast. I'm excited for our guest today. He's not a therapist, but he's super interesting and really fits the niche that we talk in here a lot about being an entrepreneur and a digital nomad. And he's done a ton of things in his life. I just want to read his bio real quick. I think that would be the best way to explain everything. Jordi Llonch is a lifelong nomad, entrepreneur, and passionate advocate for freedom technologies. I can't wait to dive into what a freedom technology is. After living in over 50 cities as an airline pilot, he transitioned into entrepreneurship and innovation consulting, helping hundreds of founders each year. Today, he leads growth at Satlantis.io, a social network built for frequent travelers and digital nomads. So I want to dive into this. I'm really excited. I was playing around on the Satlantis site this morning before we met, and I was like, this is so cool, so helpful. And I didn't have a lot of time to dive all the way in, so I'd love to talk about it. But Jordi, I'd love if you would just introduce yourself, say hello, tell us where you are right now, and then we could just dive into everything you're doing.
Sure. Hello, everybody, and thank you, Kim, for the opportunity to participate here in your podcast. Yes, I'm a frequent traveler. I travel a lot. Today, we're recording this in Barcelona, but last week I was, for example, in Albufera. I still keep the band of the Nomad World Fest. The week before I was in Tarifa for the Nomad Based Life Tarifa. Next week I'll be in Prague for PTC Prague, and afterwards people will be able to find me in Bansko at the Bansko Nomad Fest in Bulgaria. Just to tell you, my last 2 months and my next 2 months, there is more.
That's amazing. I mean, you're living the dream. Before we hit record, you were telling me about you were going to the conferences and whatnot. And it really is every time I talk to people like you that are doing the real digital nomad stuff and running businesses, it seems like everybody goes to these nomad conferences and it's almost like a circuit almost that people just travel around to all these different conferences. But the value at these conferences seem amazing to me, like just the trainings and the speakers and everything that it does to help business entrepreneurs and digital nomads in their lives. It's really neat.
Yeah, right. And I just came from this Albufeira trip where I met other people that I met in Tarifa, and I know for sure that they will be in Bansko. And it's not only the conferences, but it's the opportunity to share those conferences, those learnings, maybe just some networking with people that you keep seeing. So it's not like a normal conference that you go once and then you don't see that people ever. So it's like you can create a long-lasting relationship.
That's amazing. So, and I imagine networking and business opportunities, and the more you get to know each other, the more you collaborate and can work together on different ideas, especially somebody like you that's so entrepreneurial. Because I actually went over to your LinkedIn because I wanted to see everything you had done. And I was like, wow, okay, he has done a lot.
Yeah, and those are the things that they only posted. Of course, there are more things, but those are just the things that I want everybody to know that I'm doing.
It's pretty amazing. So you've participated in a lot of startups and also an airline pilot. That's really cool. Are you still flying? It must be convenient to be a pilot and be able to go to all these places.
Not anymore. Everybody asks me if I can be the pilot for the next trip, but you have to focus in your life. You cannot do so many things at the same time,
Yeah.
else you're gonna make mistakes over and
That's so
over.
true.
It's like if you ask a surgeon to start reading a book while he is after 10 hours of practicing or opening somebody's heart. No, take your time. You can do a lot of things in your life. We live, I don't know, maybe our generations are capable of living 100 years. So you don't have to do everything at the same time. You can do it by groups.
That's great advice. I need to take that advice myself. I have too many ideas and I definitely try to do too much at once. So tell us about Satlantis. I want to talk about it and how you got the
Sure.
idea and what it is and how it works and how it can help nomads. I just want to really deep dive into it.
Right. So I joined the team almost 1 year ago when it was just an idea. It was just our CEO, like he had this idea because he was traveling with his wife and he just wanted to find a place to grab a coffee, sit down and relax in a specific environment. So it's not like the excuse was the coffee, but the idea behind was like to be around like-minded people. So that's when we started building this tool. It's just a tool, it's a tool for nomads. And I'm sure that everybody that is listening here knows a lot of tools for nomads, maybe like Nomad List or Google Maps or Instagram. There are events places, meetup.com, Eventbrite, Luma. there are many, many tools, but they are generalistic or generic tools that can be used for different groups of people. So what we try to do here is like, we're trying to bring all the tools that these nomads, that we nomads are using, all under one umbrella. So then you don't have to log out from one place to go to another one. So if you're looking for cool pictures on Instagram about, I don't know, this beach in this country, then if you like the picture of the beach and you see that there is like a beach restaurant, I want you to be able to go to that restaurant, but now you can't, because then it's like maybe the picture was taken by somebody that was walking.
Yes. It's like, where is this? And then you're like deep diving, and then before you know it, you're down this rabbit hole, and
And
it's
then,
like, what was I even doing before?
yeah, it's a spiral. Yeah, the problem with
Yeah, yeah,
social media platforms is that you start doing one thing and then they
yeah.
drag you. So imagine, yes, you find the restaurant, all right, or you use the map. I don't know if anybody knows, but Instagram has a map.
Yeah.
But
Oh, it
but
does?
it
Oh,
does.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, nobody knows it, but because it works so badly that nobody uses it. So imagine you are so lucky that you know that there is a map and you find the place and you find the restaurant, but you don't see any reviews on that map because maybe you have the link to the account of the user that runs the restaurant. If you're lucky enough, there is a link tree or a link to the Google Maps, and then in Google Maps you'll see maybe the pictures of the menu, but the reviews, who wrote those reviews? You wrote them. I wrote them. A bot farm in India paid by the competitor saying this restaurant is bad, wrote them. I don't know. We don't know how this works. So then imagine, yes, you find the good reviews, but it has like 5-star reviews, but it's a barbecue place and you're vegan. So why 5 stars if I'm vegan? That doesn't match with me. It should have 0
Yeah,
stars.
exactly.
So, you start asking like all these things, and the tools themselves, they are useful, but when
Yeah.
you're trying to connect them all to your own personality, to your own interests, maybe it's when you find that you have to put more effort into discovering what you're trying to discover. And I was just using this example of a restaurant. It could be done a wellness place, like a swimming pool, local landmark, local pigs, whatever, events. So what we try to do is like we brought all these together using like this underlying technology, which is not built by us. It's like an open source protocol, which we don't need to dig dive in it. But I'm just trying to say that because of that, we are tapping into a network that has hundreds of thousands of people already, even though we haven't even launched. So that's a benefit. So when you enter to a, and with it, and it's a way of discovering places based on cities. So if you were playing today, maybe you've practiced. Did you open like any city in particular, or what did
I
you?
did. So for the listeners, if you go to the website, you kind of the first thing you see is a bunch of different cities listed. And what I loved, I thought was really cool, is it's like a summary of like the monthly cost of living for that city. So I clicked on Dubai because that was the first one that came up. And it's got like a rating system. I can't remember the categories there, but it was
Yeah,
like family life, what are the
safety,
safety.
infrastructure, education, so business friendly.
Yes, and then the cost of living, which what I didn't know, because I was actually talking to my boyfriend about it earlier today. I was like, "Oh my god, it's got the cost of living." He was like, "Well, what is that based on? Is that like a single person trying to live in the city, that sort of thing?" So did want to ask you that, like,
Good
what is
question.
yeah,
So at the time of this recording, we have around 80 cities. Maybe when
okay,
this is published, we will have already 100 or 200 cities. So we're adding a lot of cities at the same time, which raises this problem. Like the more information we have, the more complicated it will be to get together all this info. So at the moment, what we're doing is we are buying all this information from centralized databases that have like people on the ground, like gathering all this info, all the statistics. Then on top of that, we also partner with local people in the city. So in Dubai, we have an ambassador, and the job of the ambassador is to fill in the serve. But the problem is that maybe the cost of living is different than yours, because maybe his standards is like living in a 5-star hotel every day. So the next level will be like, because this is a social network, everybody that is living in Dubai will be able to say, how much am I paying? And then based on your interest, if you and I have similar interests, then we'll see similar prices, because maybe you and I, we don't need a 5-star hotel and we're happy with just a rented apartment, not in downtown, maybe in the suburbs. So this is how we are creating. It's a social network, right? It's a social network that learns from your interests to give you like a personalized experience.
it's really cool. So then I didn't have a lot of time to dive into it, but when you start to dive into that city, that's where you can start to personalize it, I guess, with the open source information. If you're a I'm gluten-free. So if you're a gluten-free
Yes.
restaurant
Yes.
goer, like you can pick Dubai and then that sort of thing. And then it looked like it almost gives you like a feed, basically a feed that's
Yes.
more personalized to you. And then you can like personalize the city to your personality, basically, if you're
So
planning to move or live there or whatever.
that's a good use case of Satlantis. So we are building it for people like me. So it's like, where am I going to live next? Am I going to live in Dubai? I want to know beforehand how much will it cost me? Is this the type of city built for me? I need to know all these filters that you were saying. So maybe Dubai is not for me. So I go to the next city and I discover cities based on my interest. We have like two experiences. We have the website experience, which is free to use. Nobody needs to even to create an account. For you to play, you don't even have to create an account. It's like we show you first what you can do. But then if you want to have like a better personalized experience, because we have a chat or we have collections, all these things, we ask you to create an account. I don't want you to be like texting publicly to anyone. So, but this is like premium features, and even I'm saying the word premium, but it's not even paid. Anybody can join, can play around. Again, because of this technology that we're using, I don't want to get so technical about it. We're not even creating accounts. We're creating profiles, meaning that we don't even own anything that you post. So you can even leave with all your information. It will never be ours. It is like the difference between the legacy social media platform. We don't want to have this big power because we know that power will eventually corrupt us. If it's not we willingly, somebody could coerce us and force us to do something with that data. So that's why we don't even force you to create accounts. This is one of the things that when you said, I'm interested or I'm curious about what is these freedom technologies
Yes,
have
I
to do.
wanted because I'm hearing you and
That's
I'm
it.
like, this must be the freedom technology that you're
That's the
talking
freedom
about.
technology,
Yes,
right?
that's amazing.
And this is just the experience that you have on the website. Because normally when you are planning for a long trip, that maybe for 2 or 3, 4, even 6 months, you need to sit down and make long-lasting decisions. So that we have like this big experience of this website, as you were saying, you can have a feed of the city. But then once you have arrived to the city, maybe you want to experience a more social side of the city. So maybe you want to find events, restaurants, places. So that's why we also have apps for Android and iOS. So then you can see what your friends are doing, or even friends that you still don't know that they are your friends, because it's just people with your same interests in the same city. And if you're tired of that city, you can just unfollow the city, and out of a sudden, you stop seeing anything related to that city. And you can then come back. You say, "Oh, sorry, I want to see again what's
I
happening."
want to be back in the city. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So that's like the two experiences, and both of them use this underlying freedom technology, which doesn't allow us to do much. So, quick metaphor: imagine if you could bring all your, and I think that could be interesting for all your therapists, your listeners, because we're a social network, and the role of the social network is not only to create friendship connection, like this type of connections, but business connections. So, for example, if you are offering your services as a psychopath therapist, then you can post that on the platform. And if you're offering that in person in whichever city in Dubai, you can post it over there. So it's a way for, but the problem is like, imagine like there are many content creators or small business entrepreneurs that they do that on Instagram or on YouTube. The problem with that is that all this information is held captive by these platforms. So if one day you want to bring all your follower list, all your likes, or your posts, all your messages, imagine you have like these private messages with your clients. If you want to bring them from Instagram to WhatsApp or from Instagram to Twitter, you cannot
Hmm.
do that. So
Right. It's very
we are
hard to
using
do.
we are using, and this is a metaphor. You will never be able to do that unless one of those companies buys each other and they create an integration. But what we use, the technology that we're using, allow our users to do that. So today you can join in Satlantis, do everything you want, and if tomorrow you're tired of Satlantis, or I don't know, you just don't like the colors of the website, so for whichever reason, you can bring all your activity and replicate it in other competitor apps that
Oh,
like different interfaces, but that you can, and that's the value. Like we're not competing with Twitter or Instagram or whatever. No, we're competing with other friend apps that are doing the same. The difference is that we have this only angle for digital nomads. But I mean, an open protocol. Anybody could build a competitive Satlantis. You can build Satlantis2 for therapists.com. You can do that tomorrow, and that would be good for the users that are using it, because then I would have to improve our platform based on, oh, you are building something that is more interesting for the user. And this is called the portability and the flexibility that you can bring your identity from one place to another.
And the open source protocol you're talking about, I guess. This open source is out there for anybody to use and put
Ye-
into a system like this. And I guess
yes,
that's more of the freedom technology stuff. It's out there for everybody to do what they want to do with it. Yeah.
yes, yes.
So interesting.
Very, very much.
Wow.
And this is something that normally nomads are interested in, because nomads are looking for freedom. They normally look for location independence. But an independence trend becomes freedom. And this freedom, they start looking for, okay, I have now freedom of traveling, but there are more freedoms that I'm interested in. Maybe money. The problem with many nomads is that because they travel so much and they are opening their bank accounts from different countries, they get their bank accounts seized, or they get a lot of questions, and they lose access to their funds. So this is one of the things that worry. And once you enter to this rabbit hole of freedom technologies, you'll see that there are ways of moving money without even having to have bank accounts or things like a topic for another
I was
discussion.
gonna
But
say we could dig into it a little bit, because the other
yeah,
thing that you specialize in is Bitcoin, and you know a lot about Bitcoin, and I really don't. And the listeners, that might be super valuable for them if you want to take the
yes,
time to talk
I'll be
about that a little
happy.
bit, to
Yes,
explain. Like, I mean, I'm in the U.S.
yeah.
mostly, and we don't really. I mean, I know people do, but I don't use Bitcoin here. But
Mhm.
I know that people are using it, and I was kind of looking at your LinkedIn too around the Bitcoin stuff, and maybe you could talk about that. Like, how would a nomad, like somebody like me, like start using Bitcoin as a currency if they wanted to do that? Like, what is the premise of it? And could you give us some information around that too?
Definitely. Let me start with a couple of definitions. So today, you're American, you live in the US, so you use the dollar. The dollar is it's the world dominant currency today. It's like if you have dollars, you have nothing to worry about. Not because it's a strong currency, it's because it's the strongest. But it's not strong because it's backed by nothing. It's backed by promises. Dollars, so that since the Nixon shock in 1960 something, he depegged the gold from the peg between the the dollar and the gold standard. So it's like there was a time that with $1, with $1 bill, you could go to the bank and they would give you a small portion of gold. And if you look at old banknotes, it will say redeemable by gold. But that's why there are new designs now out there, and it doesn't say anymore redeemable by nothing. So now it's just ones and zeros printed, sometimes digitally, sometimes printed on these pieces of cotton, which are the banknotes. So the dollar is worth nothing. It's just a promise. It's a promise that the government will give it back to you if you come back, if you believe in the government. And that's why, and why is the dollar the strongest one? Because it's the one, the nation state with the strongest army in the world. Because of that, it's like, I'm in Europe, right? So I have the euro. Euro is normally like the second one after the dollar. So if I pay you 100 euros now, and then you want to use it back, you will try to use it in euro. But if nobody accepts it, then you will come and you will come with your army and say, look, my army is bigger than yours. You better take this. Right. So this is like a small explanation. I'm trying to be as short as possible on how the global currency system works. The problem with that is that the dollars that we have in our pockets, in our bank accounts, are not ours. They are promises that somebody else, in this case, the Federal Reserve through the United States government, will pay it back. That's why for nomads, when they travel from one place to another, they get these blockages, these blocks of their accounts, because it's not their money. They are accounts, they are bank accounts that are held by custodians, call it banks, call it third parties, and they give you access to something that it was never yours. It was a promise of debt of the US. So a lot of nomads are worried because they think they're free, but they're not free because they depend on a money that is not theirs. And the word money, I don't like it anymore because we're using it, we changed the definition of money without changing the name itself. So and you used the word currency before. So what we have today is currency. Currency, it's not a synonym of money. It's something different. Money, and there is like this definition that it's called like sound money. Sound money means it's like, because it's sound, it's solid, it's strong. It comes from the old meaning of sound in English. That means that it makes sound. So What is sound money? Anything, like any coin that you let flow, you let fall, and if it makes sound, this is money. Try to do that with any coin that you have today. It doesn't make any sound. It makes clunk. But with a gold money, with a gold coin, it will be clink, 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 clink. So that's sound money, right? So, but we don't have sound money anymore. So a coin of gold is as worth today as it was 2,000 years ago in the Roman Empire. But a coin, a quarter of a dollar today, it doesn't even have silver in it. So it's worth not the same as 2,000 years ago before we have the government. So what I'm trying to say here is that nomads, when they travel, they trying to make their own life, means of living by being free, but they can't. So Bitcoin is a good tool for them to become financially free. Why is that? I gave you a little rough and very, very quick, as I could, the explanation of how the fiat system works. The fiat is like fiat by decree. So it's like, so the differences between the traditional legacy currency system with Bitcoin is that Bitcoin doesn't depend on any third party. There is no government that is talking to any Federal Reserve Bank that is deciding today we're going to print $1 trillion. There is nobody doing that. We call it sound money. We call it digital gold because it comes from nature. So how much gold do we have in the universe? There is a small, limited amount of gold. We cannot produce more gold. So in Bitcoin, we use the same analogy that we cannot produce more Bitcoin because it's also an open protocol, open source network that we all agree. When I say we, it's all the participants on the network. You don't have to have Bitcoin to agree on the consensus. What I'm trying to say is that there is a limited amount of Bitcoin today, and there will never ever be as much Bitcoin in 100,000 years. The same as with gold. The difference is that gold today it's underground, so we need to put a lot of effort to find it. Like we have to mine it, and it's there, but it's so expensive to mine that maybe we are not extracting it at a fast rate. But when we need more, what we would need it, we would put more effort. So in Bitcoin, it's the same. Today there is a specific amount of Bitcoin, and then day after day, if you put more effort, you will extract it all enough. And at the end of the next century, all the Bitcoin in existence will be extracted. Why am I telling you all this, and why somebody that is listening cares about that? Because Bitcoin is something that if it's mine, it's mine. Like a gold coin, it's mine. And there is no third party controlling it. So if I travel from point A to point B, I travel with my Bitcoin. So nobody can block it. So if you are a nomad and you're trying to make your living with clients all over the world, you might be interested in charging your services in Bitcoin because there is many people in the world with Bitcoin willing to spend it. And I'm not talking about trading. This is not a crypto bro trading class. No, this is an asset that can be used for many things. I mean, gold has also had its trading features, so people can trade it, and dollars and euros people can trade. But we're using the tool, the technology itself, as a means of achieving one goal, which is if you're a professional and you want to charge your services in Bitcoin, you can do it because it would be peer-to-peer. It's me, Jordi, paying to you, Kim, directly. There is no Venmo, there is no Cash App in the middle, there is no bank that will verify that this transaction is legit or it's not legit, or what does the word legit even mean at every time in history, because those things can change. No, if you give me a 30-minute session and I agree to pay you $200 in Bitcoin, it's an agreement between the two parties, you and me. Many nomads are starting to dig into this rabbit hole because they're looking for financial.
Yeah, I mean, I get that question like probably once a week in my traveling therapist Facebook group. It's like, how are you guys managing money and bank accounts and all these different places? Like it's a real issue.
I've seen it. I've
Yeah,
seen
I'm
it.
trying to do that. So that's so interesting. So how does somebody, I mean, I know nothing about Bitcoin. Like how does somebody buy Bitcoin? How do you know, like I'm a therapist, right? Let's say I charge $150 for an hour. Like what does that even equate to in Bitcoin terms, you know? And how do you even know? And then how does somebody pay you in Bitcoin? You know, like that's probably so basic to you, but I'm hearing you talk. I'm like, I don't even know I don't even know this, you know?
So the first thing I would recommend you is that in your website, when you say book a session with me, you add like the smallest icon that says I accept Bitcoin. Simple like that, right? And then by doing that, your target group of clients has just expanded. Now you have more clients because there are people that has Bitcoin that don't know how to spend it, and people that don't want to go to the bank, they don't want to go to an exchange, they don't want to go to any regulated entity, because the good thing of Bitcoin is if you use it properly, it can give you a lot of anonymity. It's not an anonymous coin. It's pseudonymous, but there is people that don't want to be tracked. Why not? There are many reasons. People would say because you're a robber or you're a bad actor. No, people that use Bitcoin don't want to say they have it because they don't trust that if they say it into a bank account or if they, sorry, into a office, or if they say it into an exchange, they don't trust that those organizations will be able to keep their information private. And there are databases and in the deep web and in the dark web that you can buy of people with Bitcoin. So then it's especially, for example, in Sweden, that happened. In Sweden, there is like this database of everybody. There is a database of where do you live, what's your name, where do you live. So if you match, and this is publicly available by the government, and if you match this list with another hacked database of names with people that owns Bitcoin, and that's why now Sweden, from being one of the safest countries in Europe, has become a nightmare. You don't want to go there anymore because, especially people there, they don't even lock the doors of their houses. So now it's like it's paradise for robbers, and all the locals are going in. So the reason of not wanting to say that you have Bitcoin is like privacy, because you want to protect yourself. So first of all, what you would like to do is say, I accept Bitcoin. And then imagine I had Bitcoin and I need a session with you. I would text you, hey, Kim, can we have a class? Can we say a session? I would like to pay you with that. I know that it sounds difficult and nobody knows how much it costs. This is just the start. If somebody has Bitcoin, they will tell you, all right, so give me your Bitcoin address. Oh, then you start
your
learning.
Bitcoin what? Your Bitcoin what?
Address. You need an address.
Okay.
You need an
I don't even know what that is. Okay.
I know. No. Yeah, and nobody needs to know until it's like, what is a bank account? We don't know what is this until we have to have maybe our first job and our employer asks us to give them a bank account. So this is normal. This is like the steps that you follow when you want to make money. And if you and him agree to maybe like do like, I don't know, 10 sessions, 150. So then he buys you 1,500 in Bitcoin. So he can tell you, okay, here you have the money all up front. I don't know, whichever agreement, the same agreements that you're having now with with dollars in Bitcoin. So the first thing that you would need is an address. And to get an address, you can download the wallet. There's so many things to learn about it. Just a wallet, a simple wallet.
A Bitcoin wallet.
A Bitcoin wallet. No crypto, no nothing. There are many scams over there. So the problem with that is that, so there is people that has Bitcoin that they want to spend, but not everybody is ready to accept. So what I would say for small merchants, and if small entrepreneurs are hearing us, small or not that small, it doesn't matter. It's that they can partner with other companies that are already accepting that. And I'm not American, but I know that in America you have Strike. And Strike, it's the simplest place. So if you already have a Strike account, you can say receive Bitcoin and they will give you an address.
Oh, really? Just through Stripe? Okay.
Through Strike. So probably so simple for you. By no means.
Most of our like the software we use with our clients, we call them EMRs. They already integrate with Stripe. Like most of us are already integrated with Stripe. So that's
not Stripe, but Strike.
Oh, Strike. Oh,
Strike.
okay. Okay. I thought you were saying Stripe.
Okay. Yeah. That's okay. Yeah, they're almost called the same. Or maybe there are others, but I don't know. I'm not in the US. I'm not very knowledgeable about the US. But yeah, so this is just the beginning, and then once you get that Bitcoin, you can either use it to buy other stuff. For example, I travel to Bitcoin circular economies. I was a couple of months ago in Ubita in Costa Rica. 400 merchants, even the lady selling watermelons in the street with a QR code saying, you can pay me in Bitcoin. Everybody accepts it there.
That is wild.
In the street, like a street food truck, they accept it. You think that they know nothing about technology. It doesn't matter. They just have a QR code and they have the money there and they can use it. Or maybe if you don't understand it properly, at the end of the day, you can convert it to dollars. And then you can, if you feel safer, you can move them to your bank account. But again, the reason I'm telling you all this is because the origin of the pain or the pain point, the initial point was nomads having their US dollar bank account seized. So the goal of Bitcoin is not going back to the dollar system, but staying in a parallel system. So at least I'm not saying that you have to be always in dollars, always in euros, always in Bitcoin. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying that there are alternative options that maybe, depending who you are interested into doing. And nomads, for some reason, they started discovering Bitcoin, and that's why in Satlantis, in our platform, you can filter by restaurants that accept Bitcoin.
Oh, wow.
The same way that you
That's
can filter by
interesting.
vegan, carnivore, seed oil free. I don't know, Japanese. So there are many filters over there. And really, there is one thing that we still haven't implemented, but is part of this open protocol, is that imagine you wanted to promote your services. If you offer me a free session, it will be a good promotion for you and I, but nobody else is going to see. You cannot post this because it's confidential between you and I. But you could maybe share a video of you, a 15-second video of you telling what do you do in these sessions. So in social networks, in social media platforms, normally people do that and they post, share. So in this platform, this protocol that we're using, if we like what you posted, I, as a random consumer of your video, I can send you money through Bitcoin. It's a tip only to that video. So imagine you post 10 videos. This is a way for you to learn a little bit more about the interests of your audience. Because if I give you a like is worthless. So it costs me nothing. How are you gonna value it? But if I can send you a $5 tip for a video, then you know that you should be doing this type of content in your private session, for example.
Yeah. So interesting. Gosh, my mind is just reeling. There's a lot of nuances because, I mean, in the US, I guess if you transfer money to a Bitcoin wallet, you've still got to pay taxes on it somehow.
All right. So this is another topic.
Yeah.
Taxes, we're all responsible of our own taxes, but nomads, sometimes they don't have a
Yeah.
place to pay taxes because they're nomads.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Exactly.
it
Exactly.
depends on the
Yeah.
person.
It's interesting. The country and the person and their country of origin and all that, it gets real complicated. But I would imagine if you've got a Bitcoin wallet, after that initial transfer of money into it, nobody really knows what you're doing with it, I guess, on the
Depends how
back
you do
end.
it. Depends how you do. If
Okay.
this wallet is part of a regulated entity in the US, of course, you'll be under the scrutiny of the IRS. So it depends. There are people that are building their own wallets. I have wallets from friends that they created themselves. So they are by no means connected to any government. It's just because it's open source, anybody can build on it.
Yeah. Ah, that is so interesting. Oh my gosh.
So interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I look at it all the time. I actually bought some Bitcoin a long time ago, and it was like through some app, and eventually the app got hacked somehow, and
Yeah,
they got my Bitcoin money. It wasn't a
this will
lot, but
happen. This
yeah.
will happen always. If you buy, I don't want to sound negative here
Yeah.
or
Sure.
pessimist. This is how hackers work. If you build a big tool and this tool is an exchange and everybody's buying Bitcoin there, and then you
Mhm.
become so popular,
Yeah.
then all the hackers will be trying to
Somebody's
crack
gonna
into that
figure out how to get
database
it.
because the reward is so juicy
Yeah.
that they would like to participate. So if anybody's listening to me and it's the first time that they hear Bitcoin, I don't recommend anyone to get into Bitcoin. I'll just say study,
Yeah.
dedicate maybe 10 hours. After you
Mhm.
dedicated 10 hours, you might be curious and maybe you dedicate 100 hours. And maybe after
Mhm.
that, you start thinking, is this for me? So this is
Yeah.
path, right?
Right.
So
It's a lot of nuances to
slowly.
it. Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
nuances.
And you actually go to Bitcoin, like, world conferences. This is part of
Yes.
your conference circuit that you do. Okay.
That's
Yeah.
the next one is BTC Prague, the end of June.
Wow.
If anybody's in Prague, come say hi. We have a big booth there. The whole team will be speaking on the main stage. We're going to make some announcements about Satlantis because this type of audience is the audience that we have in our platform, like freedom seekers. And they want to find other freedom seekers like themselves, like-minded people. How can I do this? How can I do that? How can I find my real freedom? How can I escape? We met people a couple of years ago. I was in Korea, in South Korea, and I met North Koreans that escaped the oppressive regime of North Korea, at least from their point of view. Of course, if you ask somebody inside there, they will say that it's not oppressive at all. So I met this type of people that they're looking for freedom, and the only way they had to escape was running away. Like that, there's like this river, so they had to be almost naked, and they couldn't bring anything with them. So the only way that they could leave the country with some wealth was with Bitcoin, because they memorize this password, and with this password, then you can get it back. It's such a wall. So this is the type of people that I see when I go to this conference. It's nothing about trading, nothing about being rich, quick schemes. The Bitcoin conferences is like mostly about freedom seekers.
That's amazing. Yeah.
And
Because I mean, there are always these people that somehow get into my Facebook groups and they're like, all of a sudden they're posting, spamming, like, I'll help you buy Bitcoin. All of a sudden there's Bitcoin. I don't know what they are. I kick them out as soon as I figure out what they're doing, but they're all over the place, So
and you
it
don't know
kind of
if
gives
they're
it a bad
real.
reputation. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I don't like to use the word Bitcoin so much, even though in this call we've been talking about it for a while. But because people that never heard it before, they associate it with negative connotations. That because these bad actors, the ones that are getting into your groups, are making people believe that this is what it is.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
yeah,
Totally.
be careful of
So
them.
interesting. Oh my gosh. So if I go to Satlantis and I wanted to like follow you, how would
Uh-huh.
I follow you? Do you have like a profile name or
Yes,
yeah?
just go to satlantis.io/Jordi. Like it's
Oh,
written
slash
down
Jordy.
here.
That's easy.
/Jordi. Yeah, and this is like something easy that we've built, because normally if you would like to follow me, it would be satlantis.io/01ABC, blah blah blah. And this is because this open source protocol. So once you're there, follow me there, message me there. I'm available. My goal is to build this tool for nomads. And at the moment when I say we, it's like with the building, the initial team is available, and we're going to all these conferences because we want to build a networking tool for nomads built by nomads. And that's why we're still in beta. That's why we are so approachable. And that's why even, I don't know when this will be aired. Maybe,
About 3 or 4 weeks probably. Yeah.
so maybe for that time, we will probably have announced that. So I can say it here.
Yeah.
Because we are so open, and because I'm going and traveling to so many places, and normally I'm asking people to help me for free. It's like, okay, Kim, do you have some feedback? So what we're going to do is we're going to open a crowdfunding campaign. So now the nomads that are interested in helping us can also be equity owners of our platform. And again, be careful with that. Big disclaimer, we are a startup. Investing in startup is complicated. It's hard. It's super risky, and this will be a crowdfunding campaign for non-accredited investors, meaning anyone would be able to invest from $250. Be careful. But the idea is that because I've been asking so much for free for our audience, it's like, okay, you've been giving us, now it's our time to give back. And this will be announced. By the time this is aired, it will already be announced in BTC Prague, which is our big milestone this year. So yeah, follow me, reach out to me, talk to me, give me feedback. I'll be here for you guys. And if you are entrepreneurs like you, Kim, that I know, use it to your advantage. Post pictures of your practice, of your office, of your success examples in the cities that you are offering your services. And if you have a practice, add it on the map, because you can add things on the map, and you can use it to generate business. It's a social network. The idea is to connect with like-minded people. But as I said before, it's not only to make friends. We can also make business.
That's amazing. How
Yes.
interesting. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming today. So
Pleasure.
they can find you on Satlantis. How else can people find you if they're looking for you
You
and
can
want to
find
connect?
me on Twitter as well. Look for Jordi Llonch Satlantis, and I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Satlantis. I'm on Facebook as well, just with my name.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today. It was really interesting hearing about everything you're doing.
It's
Yeah.
been a pleasure, Kim. Thank you for keep doing this an amazing podcast, and keep doing it. I'll be happy to keep listening to them.
Thank you so much.